Yo, what's up, everybody? What's good? Welcome to my channel. If you've never been here before, and if you have, then welcome back to my channel. And speaking of back or being back, I'm the one that's back because I'm the one that's been away for a while. I'm gonna cut straight to the chase. Um, I haven't been real active because over the last couple of months, my father, who is 82 years old, has not been doing well at all. He went from being in really good shape for a man his age to basically being a shell of himself over the span of a couple of months. Um, Found out that he was complaining about his feet, and come to find out he had a couple of blood clots in his feet, which ultimately led to some strokes. And like I said, now he's barely the person that I remember, and needless to say, it's been really hard, and I haven't had time or the motivation to make music too much. Um, I've been trying to help my two older sisters and my older brother with my dad, and just thinking more about that. You know, it makes you put life into perspective. Um, you know, life is short and it can change literally damn near overnight. And so that's why I haven't been really doing too much. I'm sorry about the absence, but I appreciate everybody who has rocked with me so far. I've even gained a few subscribers, over this time. Um, and man, I appreciate y'all and salute to y'all, man, because I never even thought I'd even have you know that many subscribers anyway. So I appreciate each and every last one of y'all. So, and that's another reason why I want to get back to doing something, because you've taken the time to support me. So, you know, I gotta, you know, I gotta make it right. So, um, but it makes me think about time because you know you got to use it while you got it. And so, um, I'm back. So I'm gonna try to get back to being active. And but I'm always thinking about music and listening to it. Even if I'm not in a mood to create it, I'm always listening and I'm always thinking about it. And you know I'm I'm a person who prefers music from the 90s anyway, but I mean, not exclusively, but primarily, you know. Um, but I've been going back listening to a lot of the early records, from the 80s, um, you know, right when hip hop started, you know, making actual records in the studio. And the stuff by Pumpkin and Larry Smith, man, stuff like that. I've been jamming a lot of Houdini and all that kind of stuff. And it makes me think about my style of production, or well, I'll say music. I don't like to call myself a producer. I ain't never produced no records, but I just pretty much consider myself a musician. But you know, when it comes to hip hop, even though I like sampling and it's fun and it's part of hip hop, it it's not really my way of going about it. I like to try to put my own music together. You know, when I think about the majority of my favorite tracks, they're non-sampled or they may be replayed, you know, versions or have replayed elements in them. I like to do that, or at least try to have a combination. You know, and so you know that's something that I've sort of reaffirmed in my mind is that going forward, I'm probably not going to be doing a whole lot of sampling unless I just hear something that's just so cool that, I just feel like I got to, sample it if I can think of something cool to do with it, you know. But generally speaking, I like to try to put my own music together. And so over the last week or two, I have kind of been getting back to trying to make some music. And so I figured I'd take this time to kind of show you something that I've been working on over the last couple of days. I sat down with the MPC, and I'm usually not the kind of person that will try to force something, but I did sit down and I said, well, let me just see if something gives me a little motivation. And so I started going through some drum breaks, and I found this one. I like that. But I decided I didn't want to use the break. I wanted to, program something myself. So I went and chose some drums. And let me see. I got a kick. Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. I got a kick there. Got a snare. And I got a hi-hat. And so what I did was, I'm gonna mute some of this stuff out. Let's see, what's my tempo? $150 beats per minute. But anyway, I laid down this right here. So I laid that down. And then after that, I was like, I kind of like that. So I decided I'd lay down some bass. And so I plugged my keyboard up. Well, it's always connected. I turned it on, and there's some bass sounds that I like in it. And so I chose one, and I went to the audio tab, and I played something in, and then, I assigned it to a pad, and I played this. Simple bass line. So when you put them together, you get this right here. And let me see, what did I do after that? I think after that, well, I'll tell you what I did. After that, I pulled up a plug-in, right here in my MPC. And I went to the electric plug-in, and I went to tube, and the very first sound is El Piano 1 tube. It's an electric piano, like a Rhodes or something. And I played a chord and added some tremolo to it, stuff like that. And then once I did that, I muted it out, and I bounced it to a sample. And so, sorry. Hold on. I bounced it to a sample, and it's just a chord that sounds like this. And so I added that in. So then I added another plug-in. I went back to that same electric plug-in, and then I went back to tube, and I chose Bell's tube, and I did the same thing. I bounced it to a sample, and I played this little part. Little chord with, just a little melody. So I put them together. All right. So then after that, let's see, what did I add? Oh, okay. I'll tell you what I did. I came and I found a string sound that I liked in my keyboard, and I played this. All right, so then after that, let's see. I plugged in my guitar, plugged my Strat in. I started hearing some like some wah guitar, and just a couple of single notes with wah, with the wah pedal, like this. So I added that in. Okay. And then I added these chimes. All right. I thought that might be a cool idea, so I threw that in there. And then I got to thinking, if I decide I want to like break it down or something, and bring the bass out, I'd still like to have something kind of underneath there to keep the melody of the bass line going, even though it's not the bass, because if you mute the bass out, it doesn't sound right. To me, it sounds weird without something to keep that familiar, melody of the bass line, but without the actual bass. So I went back to my keyboard, and I pulled up a 2-octave piano, and I played this. And it's right up underneath the bass. You can hear it. But when I mute it, simple. I like the groove of it, you know. It's real slow and sinister like. That's about it, you know. So anyway, you know, that's kind of where I'm at with it. You know, I'm just trying to kind of get back in the groove of trying to be creative again, you know, and you know, have, you know, put more music up here for y'all to check out, you know, and kind of see where my head is at. But like I said, you know, I've been had a lot going on, so like, you know, again, I'm sorry for the absence, but I'm trying to rectify that. I made another track too here over the last week or so. I'll make another video about it. I'll put that up and see. But you know, I was glad that I, you know, went ahead and did something, you know. And again, you know, I was talking about sampling, but you know, this sample right here, that sampling that drum break is what gave me the inspiration. So, you know, that's another thing, you know, even if you don't sample, you can use a sample to inspire you to do something else, you know, or you can build around it and then get rid of the sample. There's lots of ways to work. Ain't none of it wrong. But I just know, I know who I am as a musician. I know what I like to do. And, you know, I'm just fixing to go on and lean into that, you know what I'm saying? But that doesn't mean that I won't, you know, find something cool to sample, you know. But I don't really consider myself a sample-based kind of a guy, you know. I like to try to, you know, put something together myself if I can, you know. But anyway, I just wanted to get back on here, man, and again, show appreciation for everybody who rocks with me and, you know, kind of let you know what I've been working on here lately. So I hope everybody else is doing well. I hope if anything is going wrong for you, I hope it gets rectified soon. Everybody take care. Peace.